Hey, welcome everyone, and good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for all the support that you guys have shown to my YouTube channel. My channel is growing. I have around 3000 subscribers now, 358 videos, although it's a bit slow, but still then I have been making a lot of playlists, so please do watch, enjoy, gain knowledge. My about my personal life is the personal blog playlist. About the blockchain I speak, my VECHAIN portfolio where I share my investment tactics and what I am doing there. I built my own PC, my GoPro. I have information about Scrum, means I am Scrum certified, as well as my data. My data, means working in the data is my passion, and I am a data engineer slash analyst, business process analyst. So then I love to share my knowledge and know different things that I have been doing, that is happening in the world. Okay, without further ado, let's begin. Today's topic is about data profiling. Hooray! Data profiling. Okay, when a new guy comes into the company and it is being asked as a data engineer or a data analyst or a data scientist, then the first thing that one has to know, if the team is small, time is short, then if you are asked to create reports, then the first thing one has to know to understand databases, data warehouses, data marts, and the tables that are present in each of the modules there. It's very difficult, it takes months to understand, but with small techniques and small coding experience, one can do the data profiling within 1 or 2 months. What data profiling means? Data profiling is a technique where you profile. What do just Google profiling? Profiling means understand what is in there. For example, data profiling is the technique of understanding the data. That is how I say it. Understand which columns are there, understand whether the columns are complete or not, understand whether there are errors or not, understand what is the frequency of update, understand whether which is the primary key, understand what is the type of the column, understand is there any errors or gaps, or what is the size of the table, what is the number of records in the table. And the last and the most best part is, suppose in the suppose in SAP or in any transport management software or any application, you want to search a data, that for example you want to search a particular driver phone number, and you want to know in which table of the database the driver phone numbers are stored. That is very difficult. Either you have to ask the IT guys or the creator of the data warehouses. It is very difficult to understand. But then with a little bit of knowledge, it's always the brain capacity, guys. With little bit of knowledge, you can do it. Well, with 8 years of experience, I have some metrics for data profiling that I do before diving or doing anything in Azure or Databricks for data transformation or data lineage. First of all, in data profiling, I do data profiling, and the yellow ones are the things that I do. Remaining things are not needed till now, and also I didn't have the necessity to do that also. In a database, I check always which tables are complete, how many records are there, which records are unique, what are the distinct values, are the records redundant, whether the data that is coming into the master data tables are consistent or not, whether it's accurate or not. For example, you are extracting the customer names to the database, and you have transactional data, and there are 20 customers active in your financial sheets. But suppose by mistake someone deletes one of the customer record master data in the application, and then nobody knows about this, and then in the report it is on 19, the revenue reporting is very less. So in that way, it's pain for the data engineers to identify what went wrong. So it's better to have a data profiling techniques right in place, so that you can easily get or easily identify what's going wrong. Then in a column you have, suppose there is a column of 1 million records, and you want to know what is the distribution of the records, because for example, maybe suppose the coordinate information or geo coordinate information, maybe the coordinates are of haywire or wrong, or something happening. So it's better to see the mean and the max value, and to know whether the coordinates are of right size, right figures, right decimals or not. This is very important, guys. Maybe for small companies it's not important, for large companies this is very important. Data size, yeah, I measure the data size because I want to know whether because suppose in the transfer in Azure you have to mention the specific size of the tables. So if the size of the table today is 120 and tomorrow it is 160, then your data pipelines will fail because your data 160 records cannot be accommodated in data in 120 records. So then that is also one of the thing that I do to measure the size, and also the number of rows and the columns I do. Then data formatting means you obviously want to know whether the integer column has any strings present or not, or a mix present or not, because that is error. You want to know the data errors, whether the data coming that is precise or not. Then data type, which is same as data formatting. You also want to know the data granularity because the level of the details. And at the end you want to know the gaps. For example, if the geo coordinate columns and there are some missing data. For example, the truck went into a location where the geo sensor didn't work, so suppose for 1 hour you don't have the record where the truck went, then while creating a trajectory plot or creating any plots, it is difficult. Or example, the application didn't record when you in the front end, when you entered something, it didn't come into the database, then also you have gaps, and in the revenue report you will have gaps then. So all these metrics I have in place. It is automated. I don't share it with anyone. I just keep it to my record as a data engineer to see what is happening and where the things are going wrong in my day-to-day life. And to make it automated is very easy, guys. You have to just know simple SQL codes, which we will see in the later part of this video. Then there is a misconception that data profiling and data quality are the same. Three things has to be done: profiling, quality, and cleansing. Cleansing can only be done if you are thorough with data quality and the profiling. Well, profiling is a technique to only understand, very important to know, it is to understand the whole database, data tables, and the type of data present. With that understanding information, then you are assessing whether the tables that you are seeing are of high quality, or whether it should be deleted, whether you need to inform the IT guys. So focus on answering if the data is of standard. So this answers the most crucial question of data, or the difference between the data profiling and the data quality. After having the information of these two, then you can do data cleansing, like identifying and correcting the errors. For example, there are many techniques. If there are gaps, then you can simply just replace it with the median or the mid value, or mean value, or a max, or the low value or mean value or something. Or also you can do fill down or fill up techniques. There are thousands of techniques of data cleansing, which we will see in the upcoming videos, guys. For now, let's focus on the data profiling. It's very interesting, guys, but you have to be like, this work has to be done once, and then you are following a best practice. So this is the extended version of the discussion. For example, column analysis is done in data profiling, whereas CSCV technique, that is this is my technique, that is consistency, accuracy, completeness, and validity check for data quality. And data quality checks you have to do for master data, because for example, if the driver phone numbers are missing, or customer bank account details are missing, then you have to report to the concerned person to fill it up, because these are the crucial data. In data profiling, you analyze the data type, values, outliers, missing values. You analyze, then you assess that what has to be done with those errors that you have identified, and then ensure that the data meets certain standards. So this is the difference between data profiling and data quality. Okay, now the most interesting part, database. Okay, so data profiling is done to a particular database or Excel sheet, or wherever you are storing the data, shadow databases or the real databases. And then is the 80-20% rule, because you really have to identify which tables are of use and which tables are of no use. So to identify, to do the 20% analysis, or to identify which tables are of important, then you have to do the data profiling, guys. Otherwise, it's very difficult for a data engineer to do any kind of transformation, any kind of to start, or any kind of data lineage there. In today's video, I will be using SQL, but Python, yeah, I mentioned here, but I am not using here because otherwise this video could be long. I am also using Excel, and Power VI for certain works also. So these are the tools that I am very thorough of, and these are the highly used recommended tools in the whole data engineering landscape and analysis landscape. So we will see one by one how each one of the things is contributing to the data profiling part. Okay.
Regarding ready-made tools like Idera SQL Profiler, it's a small tool which is available online for free, and just connect to a database. I have a test database which has like disposable records, and then here maybe I will take a small table, and then I have to see distribution also I want to see, and then profile. Just click here, it will run for some time, and then you already see that number of columns 12 you already see the table profile, but okay, strange. So, let me just select some other tables and then just do it. Okay, it's empty. Okay, maybe I will select this table, and it has 34,000 records. So let's do a profiling on it, and it takes some time. It's better to do the profiling directly via SQL or Visual Studio. Visual Studio will be seeing, but now hooray, for 34,000 records already we see the profiling now. And the advantage of this one is that here there is the distribution of the records also, like here in the activity name I have, these are the unique columns, unique records there. So these are the records there, and these records count is this. So already we see a kind of profile column, each profile data distribution also, and this is how Idera is so easy. But then if the records they are more than 200,000 or 400,000, then it is very slow. So maybe for if it is a big data, then I will be using uh, Visual Studio Code, or if it is less than 50,000 records, then Idera is already a best solution for it. Okay, moving on to the next software, that is Visual Studio. For data profiling in Visual Studio, one has to download the Visual Studio package itself, and then as an add-on, a data tool integration services. And after you do that, the the front screen looks like this. There, then you have to create a new project. After creating a new project, the window, then you have to go to the project and then click on new SSIS. This is the integration services package, and here you have to drag and drop this one like this. Data profiling task, easy peasy. And then here uh, click on edit, and then one has to first set the destination file, and the destination, we'll see. Okay, first the quick profile, and then one has to connect, set a adonet new connection, and then in my test database I will just copy this and then put it here, It's a SQL Server authentication. I will pause the video for a bit so that I can enter my login ID and password. So I have entered my credentials, and then yeah, I will just select a table, the non-trip activity. Remaining things remains the same. Click on OK because I want to see the null ratio, the statistics, the value distribution, length distribution also OK. This is what I want to see. Click on OK, and then the last thing that one has to do is to uh, set a destination, and the destination will be somewhere I will store in the database repos, and database 2, maybe name it as test profile, and then but then create a file and then just save it here. So if we randomly select a name, okay, yeah, and then okay, sorry, click on save. Now you see the cross is gone. What I have to do next is to run it, and here you will see the details will be appearing here. It is running, it is profiling the whole table, and it's done. After this is done, we can check the progress. Everything is done. Data flow, yeah, parameters, yeah, okay, everything is done here. Okay, and then I have to go back, close this, minimize this. Okay, it is running, and yeah, okay, now I went back to the previous file, and then now I have to right click on here, then I want to open the profile viewer, and guys, so if you click on this, then yeah, first click on the table itself, then click on this, click on this, click on the table itself to okay, click on this, then you can see the minimum length, maximum length, and if you click on each column, it shows us the count, percentage, and the length 3, these records, and this much is the percentage distribution. Then the null ratio, okay, the null count is this here, so that is 38%, corrected by, okay, this table column has null count as this, it's 100%. So this is how SQL, the Microsoft Visual Studio helps us in the data profiling. Yeah, it's a very complicated and a big software, and it also creates these files, and then you have to create folders, you have to show it. But then the advantage of this one is the Hadoop or the distributed file system, and where you can check the big data actually here, like 30 million, 40 million, 50 million records. Just create an object, and then you can easily do the data profiling. But the whole package needs a kind of little bit of learning curve here. So yeah, there are a lot of videos available, guys, and you can learn it easily. Okay, keep on learning. So I already showed you guys Idera and Visual Studio. Let's move forward then. To quickly show how in Power BI the same power through using the Power Query I can do a data profiling. So this is a big data like 12 million records, and I created this table.profile. I applied Power Query, and with this I got the profiling done. As you can see, it is 12 million records within 3 minutes. So Power BI is quite fast, rather than, in fact, it is faster than the SQL queries also. So yeah, this is good. I think I am going to use, means I have been using Power BI for the profiling, but sometimes I use SQL. But then I think it's better to use Power BI always. Yep, that's it. This is what I wanted to show in Power BI part itself. So, starting to do data profiling in SQL in Excel. So, I will take, what are the steps we are going to do is that I am going to take a sample data and then make it a table. Then I have to open up Power Query in Excel itself, then duplicate the table and then run this simple formula, Power Query formula, and that's it, guys. Okay, without further ado, let's begin. I will copy paste a sample data. It's a random sample data, and then regarding the data description, I don't have to go into the detail, otherwise the video will be very long. But then this is a sample data. What I will do, I will first convert this into a table, and I will insert a table here. Okay, yep, this is done. Then I have to open this table in Power Query. So I will go here to data, and then from table range, it is a bit slow, so please excuse me, guys. Okay, the Power Query editor opened, and it has automatically labeled this table as table 1. Then what I'm going to do is do a copy and then a paste. So this is my new table. Maybe I will change this name of the table to profiling. Okay, this is done. Then what I am going to do, I am going to insert a step after, and then what I'm going to do is table dot file, yeah, and then put it in brackets. Yeah, this is it, guys. This is it. So this is the final, this is already inbuilt in Power Query itself after 2016, means 2016 and latest version, and from there the latest versions. The table.profiling option is already there inbuilt. So here we get all the basic profiling details, that is minimum, maximum for every column, mean, max, average, standard deviation, count, null count, distinct count. This is already enough to know what we are looking at. Let me copy everything from here. Let me take to, maybe I will close and load, and yeah, it loaded. Okay, guys, so this is what we get as profiling detail. So then I have the raw table here, and then let's take an example. Activity ID, if the minimum and the maximum is this, average is this, that is okay. Count this, zero count, zero null. So this one is an interesting one where there are nulls. Position longitude. So let me go to this column and let me search position longitude, and then do a filter, and then try to search. Yeah, I have the blanks here, and then now I know 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is record do not have latitude longitude information. And then here I will implement data quality measures, because data profiling gives me an initial update, and data profiling needs to be implemented later after that. Okay, then guys, we see six positions are missing from here, and then here the latitude is already there. Okay, further distinct count is this, the total number of records, where I can find the total number of records. Count is 100, 1000. So here we can see there are 2 duplicates here, there are a lot of duplicates here, 3 duplicates here. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show. In Excel also profiling can be done similarly like SQL and in Python, Power BI also. So this is what it is, and the same thing can also be done in Power BI itself, because in Power BI also, in Power Query, you can write this command and you will get the data profiling. Okay guys, then we'll continue with our video session with other topics then. Okay. The software for is SQL. I love to code in SQL because it has a limited set of queries, functions, and mainly I deal with the data query language DQL and data manipulation language DML. Data definition language, yeah, means nowadays right click or in SQL Server Studio Management, and then you can create a new table or do something there. So I don't have to create the tables from scratch. Like I have to write create table name, then bracket, etc., primary key definition, etc. So in data profiling in SQL is very easy. As you saw, there are already some tools in the market, but writing codes, debugging it, and then getting the result is much more fun. So in this module we will learn that, for example, a new guy comes into the company and everything is established, so he has to make his way because he has to get information from the database. He has to know, or she has to know, that which data means what, which table has how many records, which tables are getting updated, sorry, what is the primary key, and then sorry, suppose in the front end there is a master data, then he has to know which data belongs to which table. So all these questions needs guidance from the IT experts, but nowadays everyone is busy, so it's better to have plan B, and then this is where I created I have a way of working there. So let's see how it works. For example, uh, okay, I came to the company and there is a one big database. I want to know how many tables are there in this database. So for getting the information of the metadata, we have the sys table, the system tables, and if you write select name from sys tables, then it will give the list of all the tables that are there. So there are 109 tables in the database. Now the next question comes, okay, which tables are of use and which tables are of not use, because it is always 80-20% rule, because 80% of these tables will not be storing or will be rarely used, but 20% are highly used for reporting and BI. Then my next code is like, okay, how, in which table, what are the different type of columns are there, what is the column type, and what is the row count, and this is of today. If I run this query, this is of today. Then what a person can do is that they can open Excel, and just like the newbies, 1 month, 2 months are the training period. What they can do is that they can create a pivot table. For example, let me copy all these things and put it here. Okay, let me create the headers also. That is table name, then column name, then type and numbers. Let me also create a date, that is 7th May 2023, and bring this date here. So this is for 7th of May. Tomorrow I will run the code. Maybe you can do make another table and do an insert in the insert in that table. That today 7th May, create a day date column here, and then put the today's date here. So today you run this query. Tomorrow you run this query. So you are capturing the changing dimension, which tables are getting updated weekly and monthly also. So it's a little bit of manual work, or maybe you can revise this code and you can get all the information. But for now, we have in the company few databases. So what I do is something like this, and then tomorrow I will run the code again, and then I will get the 8th May details. And let me just manually make a change here, and yeah, something like this. Okay, what I do is that I will create a pivot table out of it from table range and new worksheet, and then the date column will be in the rows, table names will be in the 109 table names. I need it here. 7th May, maybe date should be here, and then type, I will make it parallel. Field settings, I want to bring this data set here. Sorry. And then ungroup. Can I ungroup it? Okay. Okay, for now it's okay. And then bring the tables here. Okay, the columns here. So here only I see, I can also bring the percentage deviation, and here only I can see, okay, this record changed, and okay, type maybe I don't need here. Remove field. Okay, here I already see that the number of I want not the sum, but the average. Yeah, and then here I can already see that this record changed. I don't need the grand total also, and I'm a little bit not good in yeah, the grand total didn't go. Okay, I want to remove, maybe I will hide it now. For now, just hide it. And okay, this is where I already see that other table remains the same, but this table changes. So this is how I can track which tables which are getting updated, which columns are getting updated. This is the way how I track. Okay, so this is also one of the technique of the data profiling that one can do, and this is of information to the newbies that okay, this table is getting updated daily, and this table, and this is like a kind of a profile that you know that from the database. Yeah, otherwise it will be very difficult to know what is happening in the database and which column. And also here I can create a data dictionary, that which column means what. It helps me easily to understand okay, what is happening in the database. Then if I want to measure that, okay, are there any duplicate columns in the database, because sometimes people make mistakes, and I want, so this is also one of the technique I do, that in a particular column, in a particular table, okay, what are the columns there and what is the count of it. This also gives an information whether they are duplicate of the columns or not, and these are like one time activity you can do just when you are in the company, just for initial knowledge. Then the most important part, okay, in the table, you want to know that whether the table has blanks, whether the table is getting updated correctly or not, because here we got the information that which table has which columns, and these are the number of records there. But are there data quality issues? Are there like missing data, when it got updated? What is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? Whether it is complete, whether the data is accurate, whether the data can be validated. So this is one sample I am showing. For example, I took a table that is SSBA AATR, means it's one of the table in the database, and from there I selected two columns, that is SBA ATTID and SBA WERT, and there I created my own codes of and there I want to know what are the total number of rows there, what is there any data completeness issue, what are the distinct values. So I can see there are a lot of duplicates in ATTID, then percentage of unique values, then what is the maximum value, what is the minimum value, what is the length, null, errors, dates, etc, etc, etc. I already see a date that is 1750, which is wrong. In that way I can already know what is happening there. Also I can measure, what is the modification date, last modification date. Also it also gives me the count and the distribution. For example, this count means from the total number of records, 10% records, the distribution of this column is 10% of this. Sorry. Mm. In this column, these are the type of data available. Like this is a column header, and inside it, this is a string data available, and the data count of this one is this, and the distribution is this. So this is also a way to know which data in a column is of high abundance and what is the distribution of it. So this is my way of technique to know. When for an experienced guy, it is very essential to know all these things, otherwise it's chaotic. You have to do a lot of manual work. You will not be able to know, you cannot create reports. For example, right now I know in this table, these are the type of data points available. If from the front end I already know what is the use of this one, then I know that okay, this data is in here. And this is also one of the way of data profiling. I know that okay, in a column what type of data are present. But the most important question is, for example, in the front end, you see a data. You want to know in which table this data is coming from. Good, huh? For example, in a database, there are hundreds of tables. In the front end, you are good with, you as an application manager, you want to know this particular record. For example, driver phone number. The driver phone number is stored where in a particular application. And you know the database of the application, you know that, but you do not know from the 100 tables in which table that phone number is. So there is also a way there, and I have means that is and this is the code I use. For example, in a database, in the whole database, I want to search this record from all the tables, and then this is the code that I use. For example, right now I know that this data is coming from this table. So but then you can also include other tables in it. Yeah, just simply put all the tables here and then start searching and run this code. Then you will exactly get something like this, that this data is coming from this column name and this table name. Good, huh? And this is very important for data engineers who are doing the who are creating the pipelines from start till the end. And this is where this code really helps me a lot and answers the most important question, that which data comes from where in the database. Even if you are very unaware of anything, you don't know the company, you are new in the company, you want to make your way through, then this is how you can search. You can write your own codes rather than depending on many softwares or asking people. You can just write your own code and you are done there. You can also run this code in Excel also, but then you have to ask me in the comments, because I also want to know whether the viewers understood or not, whether the viewers are interested or not. Okay, so this is how I have become a mid-level, a highly experienced data engineer, because I have certain skills that no one can replace it, and that is how I make my way through in any company. And then remaining things are easy peasy. So after that, after you know the whole data landscape, you understand the databases, then you know you are thorough with the data profiling, then it is easy for you to start creating pipelines, like creating the data lineage, that is extracting the particular data that you need, or column names that you need, or the table names that you need, and then start the transformation works. Because without data profiling knowledge, I don't think it's easy for anyone. Yeah, people can go ask people, spend time, but if you want to do something fast, then yeah, this is the way to go. Coming to the last module, where it's an additional module just to share information of one of the skills that every data engineer should have, that is extracting data from the PDF documents. Well, there are a lot of techniques, but one of the most easiest technique that I find is using Power Query. And yeah, either you can connect your Excel to the folder where PDF documents are there, and just start, then use the Power Query to start extracting. Well, there are a lot of videos, because if I search in YouTube how to extract data from PDF, there are multiple ways, but today I'm going to show you guys one of the technique, that is using Power BI, because I am experienced with Power BI, and in the organization where I'm working, yeah, Power BI is used a lot, so it's easy for everyone to understand what's happening there. As a case study, I have a folder where there are a lot of PDF files are there, and if I open one PDF, then also there are Excel files are here, and the PDF looks something like this, and it's a sample PDF, and I want to extract this data, and also not this data, but to extract some rows out of it. Okay, so what I did is that I am using my Power BI right now, and in the Power BI, yeah, for example, I connected with my source. It is the Liquid 2021. Then I want only the PDF ones, not the Excel ones. So I did a filter here. Then yeah, something else I did here, which yeah, it's easy to understand, and you just keep on following, and then at the end, it's just sorry, not this one. It's just after coming here, I have to expand this table, and then I will have all the information of the PDFs that is in, like for example, this one. Like in this format, I will have all the data here. Well, I don't want to go into the details, but already it's a long video, so, and this PDF is working. It's not that it's not working, but then I don't want to show all the details to you guys. You guys can go to YouTube and just see how it works, Power BI and extracting data from the PDF. The idea was that to tell you guys, to inform you guys that yeah, it's easy to extract data from the PDF in whatever format you want and whatever rows you want. Means what rows you want. The idea is that use Power Query. As of now, I find it the best way. Also, one can use Power Flow, Power Query means Power Flow in Microsoft Power Flow, and there is this AI builder there where they can extract data. Another one thing is that the PDF should be OCR text recognized so that it's easy to extract the data. But I will leave this guys to you because anyways you learn while doing. So yeah, that is the last module that I wanted to share.